Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to see how gold has spread out this year, since from the month of January to March. We only had one trade because our first trade was around this trade was around that is 2025, the December of 2025. This played out up to January, so this we consider it as our first trade of the year. So on our second trade of the year, we're going to explain how we actually caught it, and deep down analyzing and explaining the strategy that we have used over the long term, which we have backtested and seen positive results over a large given period of time. So on our second trade of the year, you can clearly see from the daily time frame that gold has been a bull trend, a very strong bull trend. You can see this is a major swing, considering this as our higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and this huge push to the upside up to the all-time high. Then we experienced a support at about this area. Where did the market find support at about this area? You can see that we had a recent change of character at about this level. If you go down to say 4 hour charts, you can actually see that this was a bearish order block, since we had this minor change of character, at about this level here, so we consider this as our bearish order block. So what we are expecting the market to do is to continue with the sales when it gets to this zone. But since you have seen from the daily chart that the market is on a very strong uptrend, forming consecutive higher highs and higher lows, so this most probably is supposed to fail. You can consider it as a fake out to the sellers who are trying to move against the higher time frame trend. So this now acted as our support from being a resistance, and that's why after this huge run to the upside, after forming an all-time high at about 5100 plus, the market pulled back to this support level, which was our previous resistance level. So, and after getting to this resistance level here, support level, our previous resistance level, the market found support, and from our entry strategy, you can clearly see that after tapping this zone, the market changed character, give us a very beautiful change of character about this level, and you can see it. It's very clearly seen about this level. It's where our change of character happened. And our orders, as you all know, that we put our pending orders after the market changed the character. So this was our last break of structure. You can see that change of character. We were expecting the market to pull back to the most recent order block. And how do we identify our order block? It's very simple, guys. What you only want to see in the market is the gaps, and these gaps, we consider them as our fair value gaps. Since from this change of character, if you watch out this move to the upside, you can clearly see that the only gap that we're having is about this area this area, if you can all see, the only gap you're having is only in this area, guys. I don't know if you can see it, or I'm the only one person who is actually seeing that level. So when you experience an abrupt buy or an abrupt sell in the market, that's when we only experience these gaps. So this was our zone that we are supposed to put our pending orders from. This very bullish order block. We map it out, this entire zone. But don't forget, this gold, and gold, the peak value for gold is very high. So after identifying the area that we're mapping out our level, you're supposed to scale down into a lower time frame, say 15 minutes for example, because we took this trade on a 15 minutes order block. If you get to the 15 minutes chart, you can now see that this is the zone that we actually talking about. This is our zone here. This is our very zone that we are talking about. Don't forget that this was this zone. This is the entire zone, the 4-hour zone. So it's within this zone that we have scaled down into the 15 minutes chart to watch out for a very refined order block. And you can clearly see that this was our very refined order block here from the 15 minutes time frame. And you can clearly see that during this pullback phase, the market gets to this 15 minutes order block, and after activating that block, what happened, guys? The market actually, and see, after activating this block, there's a block here. After activating this 15 minutes order block, you can clearly see that the market did bought and gave a very huge swing to the upside, giving us external break of structure, consecutive break of structure to the upside. But don't forget, before the market tapped our zone here, what we had before it gets even to this level, we had this change of character here. And what does that mean? This simply means that the market might, this buy is not guaranteed that we are going to take out our all-time high. This means after this change of character, we might find resistance at our very 4-hour zone, 4-hour bearish order block. And that was the zone that we were expecting that the market, after activating this zone here, the next very resistance that the market might find the resistance from, it's this order block, our 4 hours order block here. But don't forget what is it, guys. This is gold, and the P value for gold is very high. So what we're supposed to do is to scale down, and the best order block that we found from this very block, 4-hour block, was from the 2 hours. And if you scale down to this 2-hour zone or the block, you can clearly see that this is the 2-hour order block. You can clearly see that we said before mapping our zones that you're supposed to see an abrupt sell or an abrupt buy. You can see after forming this block here, the market abruptly sold from this zone. So that means there are more orders at about this zone, but the market still can sell from it. There are orders, there are left orders, but the market can still sell from them. So after mapping out this our 2-hour order block, this was supposed to be our very target after activating our zone, our bullish order block zone. And you can clearly see that after tapping this zone here, the market actually did tap that zone, hitting our final TP, here. And after that, you can see that it's kind of in a sell-off mode. You can clearly see that we are in a sell-off mode here, guys. So our exit was about this level, this 2-hour order block. We exited there with a very admirable risk to reward. We said that, guys, this call has a very high peak value, and you can see that the minimum stop loss or the minimum risk that you're supposed to take here was about $42. This was a very high risk trade, simply because it's not all traders that we can afford to risk $42 on a single position. But what was our target? The risk to reward on this trade was very admired, about 1:16, about 17. 1:17. So if you are risking 1% of your account, that means you are supposed to make a very considerable return on that trade. So what is our next trade, guys? Having explained our first trade, how we actually got into that trade, I'm going to give a recap of what we are expecting next week gold to do for us. So on our very next trade, you can see that here we had a very strong break of structure. The market was pulling back, and actually it did change the character about this area, and had this push to this 2-hour order block. So what we are expecting next week, since we had this previous support broken and here a closure below that zone, this signifies that we had a change of character, a power change of character. So we are expecting the market to have a very deep pullback to this high was swing low for this major move to the upside. So we are expecting the market, if we scale down to 2-hour chart, you can clearly see that we have a gap that you've said, guys. We have this very gap at about this level. So that's why we mapped out this zone here as our next very zone to look for buying opportunities on gold. So if the market activates this level, since this is a break of structure, and we usually take our trade, we took a trade on after a change of character. So when the market activates this level, I'm going to update you guys after we experience a change of character and set our buy limits, targeting this high, this very high here, or the all-time high, guys, because after the market cooperates from this level, we have a very high chance that we're going to take out our all-time high level, which is about $55.92 level. That's all that we have for gold. That's what we are eating this week, guys. So what I will ask you to support the channel, guys. Consider subscribing to the channel, because when you do that, you're supporting this channel as we move forward to see what this 2026 has for us, guys. See you in our next video.